Mayor Don Aitchison is back with us as we look into the crystal ball for the city of Saskatoon. We talked yesterday about the challenges faced by a growing city. All eyes in 2012 will be on the South Bridge project, scheduled to open in September. What changes do you see for the city of Saskatoon as that bridge opens?
Tremendous amount of change. First of all, the semis and that will travel around the city as opposed through the downtown area. You're going to see a lot more traffic not flowing through the downtown area either. So consequently, you're going to see it go around, and I believe that the downtown area will become more of a community unto itself, and that's why I'm so anxious for us to get a minimum of 10,000 people living in the downtown area of Saskatoon.
Well, the pressure will be off Idlewild Drive, 22nd Street to some extent, yes, and that bottleneck on Circle Drive North, of course. How do you see an area like Idlewild Drive changing in the future?
Well, first of all, a lot of those homes that are there probably won't be there. I see us turning it more into something perhaps more similar to 3rd Avenue with planters in the middle, perhaps businesses on both sides, more offices, that perhaps around the City Yards area.
You think of an 8th Street perhaps? Or
something similar to, well, not quite that intense because you need a lot of parking in that there, but smaller, perhaps strip malls, that sort of thing will occur. Quite frankly, people who have to live right next to Idlewild Drive, I think they're for sleeping in that and health reasons. I think that it's far too busy for having people live there right now. But those are some of the things I think that could happen on Idlewild.
As we talk about the benefits of a new bridge, a new South Bridge, we have another bridge sitting idle in the heart of the city, the traffic bridge, of course.
Yes.
Is there any movement on that for funding from the federal or provincial governments?
I wish I could tell you yes, there is right now, but we certainly have had discussions with them on that particular bridge, and hopefully in the foreseeable future we'll be able to get to that point. I can tell you that the Premier, though, with the Perimeter Bridge, the Far North Bridge, was very gracious and kind during the election period, was certainly talking about the wants and needs for the city of Saskatoon of having a perimeter highway and bridge up there. So hopefully those discussions will bear some fruit later this year for us.
Sure. Okay, let's talk River Landing now, a project that is dear to you, of course. Yes. Are you surprised at the lack of private interest in River Landing?
It's a major project, and one of the problems we had from the beginning was the density on the river. It needed to be higher, and just recently at our last council meeting we passed the higher density for Dr. Nassar, so his project could have an opportunity to succeed there. And so consequently that's happened now, and I look forward to June, July sort of thing of them excavating the land and getting started on one of the buildings there. We've got the Ramey Art Gallery Saskatchewan, which just received a national award for architecture, which is really something quite spectacular. There were
$130 million boost. Too.
A $30 million boost from Ellen Ramey. And I don't think people understand that either, that what's happened there is that the federal government was not interested in participating at the Mendel Art Gallery, and for good reason, because if they participate in renovating one, everyone's standing at the door knocking and asking for renovations. And so I totally understand where they're coming from, and knew was the only route that we had to go, and thank goodness for Ellen Ramey coming forward with $30 million.
Land prices continue to rise at River Landing as we
yes.
talk about this. And the city is anticipating bids in the area west of the freeway there, near the Saskatoon Farmers Market. What kind of development do you envision there?
Well, I see housing over there. I'm still hopeful that we'll end up with a commercial on the lower floors of a higher rise building with residential on top of it, and quite a bit of residential through that area. We're anticipating now that River Landing will turn a profit of a minimum of $8 million. And a few years ago, people were saying that was going to cost money to do River Landing. It was coming out of the mill rate. In fact, that we were going to have to pay for the operating of it. But with all the buildings that we anticipate being built there, that River Landing will in fact carry itself.
Okay, we learned in 2011, as you said, that Victory Majors is going 27, 28 floors now.
Yes.
Up is better than out, according to many people. Tall, not sprawl.
Yes.
Is that challenging for the city itself?
Overall, it's interesting. Some people talk about urban sprawl, but they don't want the city to grow out. They don't want the city to have higher density going up, and they don't want higher density in neighborhoods.
Yeah, Broadway, for instance, or City Park.
So it begs the question then, well, what do you want? If you want things to stay the same, I don't think that's the solution.
And how do you do that without changing the character of a neighborhood, too, I guess?
That's true. Those are challenges that are always there. For example, on 20th Street, where there's a new seniors complex going in, Knights of Columbus, they in fact tried to adapt it to a point that it would look accommodating to the neighborhood, was one of the projects that are there. So there's always challenges all the time. And that's, I think, one of the things of a growing community. And thank goodness we have these type of challenges as opposed to wondering which building will we tear down next. So I think those are good signs.
Yeah, 2012, an election year, of course. You've already said you'll seek re-election. Do you anticipate a long ballot on the mayor, for the mayor?
I have no idea. That I couldn't tell you. Last time I think we had 8, and the time before I think it was 7, and the time before that I think it was 8 or 9.
Everybody wants your job.
Don't know what the reason is, if it make it look too easy or it makes it look too hard or whatever the case might be, but I can tell you it's a wonderful place to live. It's just so great to be the mayor of Saskatoon and to be able to tell the story around the world of what a wonderful place Saskatoon is and the opportunities not only for business but to raise a family and to be able to live here are absolutely really special and great.
And we'll keep in mind that it will be a 4-year term next time, not 3 as it currently is.
There'll be 4-year terms, and quite frankly, I think what it does is it puts more onus on the electorate too to get out to vote. I think in the past when there were only 3-year terms, people said, "Oh, it's only 3 years; it's not a big deal." But I think making it 4 years puts far more significance in people getting out to vote, and hopefully they will.
Mayor Don Aitchison, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The mayor talked about the need to build up and not out in Saskatoon. Our web poll tonight is, would you like to see more apartment and condo-style housing built in your neighborhood to accommodate a growing Saskatoon? To vote, log on to our website.